Alright everybody, this is, I believe, to be the first attempt at a complete bee automation, and this is the Forestry mod. I'm actually playing on a mod pack on the Technic launcher. What I'm going to be doing here is setting up the initial automation phase for all the bee byproducts. The second part of this is I'm going to set up the autocrafting and routing for frames, mainly impregnated frames because that's the most practical. I am going to be doing this all in creative mode. What I have on survival is not really much different from this, but it gets the point across. So this is a rebuild of a similar design that I have in another world where I was trying to figure out how to do all this. Simply put, I have 4 centrifugal separators instead of just regular centrifuges, and they do all have upgrades, and the configuration for the right hand separators, auto inputs enabled, outputs disabled, and then just a mirror configuration for the left side, and again input enabled, output disabled. As you can see, I have 3 export buses so that when the combs or the other byproducts come in and they hit the controller, they can immediately be routed to the separators to be broken down into, honey drops or beeswax, whatever you can get from them, and then those are brought in on the import bus. Those are brought right back into the system. Now, as you can see, I'm using smart cable here, and I do have the smart cable maxed out for channels. I know each side of this is 32 channels. I don't need 32 channels for this. I just need 8, and this does just fine because I'm utilizing all 8 channels, 4 on each of these for both sides. I do also have upgrades on all of the export and import buses. I got 2 capacity, 2 acceleration cards because some of the bees give more than one byproduct, like the industrious bee or the imperial bee. Imperial bee gives dripping comb and royal jelly, which is 100% required for making alvearies and other alveary products or alveary blocks. And I have, for the industrious bee, you have the pollen cluster and another type of comb I can't really remember off the top of my head right now. Actually, while we're sitting here looking, it doesn't really say what their byproduct is. It doesn't matter. For bees that have multiple byproducts, you need to be able to export certain items to here, and you also, obviously, you don't want to export pollen clusters here. And I got, cable anchors here so things don't get squashed together. And for anybody curious, obviously you can see that my redstone is maxed out. I do have redstone being routed underground. I like to do a lot of this stuff underground because it makes it look cleaner. But everything does have redstone, and anything that requires redstone will also have it. I am going to start on the autocrafting section next, which is going to take up the bottom channel here on my controller. It's going to take up probably close to all 32 channels just to get this set up, and we'll go from there. So where we left off before was I had just finished crafting the basically the processing plant, call it that. The 4 centrifugal separators, all of the export buses and the import bus. The controller, got my drive set up, crafting terminal, infinite power source, and all of the enhancements to those items, the buses and everything else. Now, moving on to bigger and better things. We are auto-crafting impregnated frames. Now, if you don't recall what impregnated frames take, they require 8 impregnated sticks with 1 piece of string. Now, impregnated sticks take if you have a carpenter, you need seed oil, and it says fireproof, but that's not required. You just need 2 pieces of unprocessed wood, so the wood blocks you get just from chopping a tree down, not after you've already turned them into planks. You just need a carpenter, which is RF powered, 2 pieces of unprocessed wood, and a pair of impregnated sticks takes 100 millibuckets of seed oil. Now, the best option I've seen so far in Minecraft 1.12.2 is from cherries. Not the Pam's Harvest Craft, but this one. It's the Forestry cherry that you can get from the hill cherry tree, and I think you can get it from the pink cherry as well. But the hill cherry sapling, if you have a looting enhancement on an axe, you'll get a ton of cherries, and each of those cherries gives you 15 millibuckets, 15 millibuckets that you'll get from each one of these. Whereas if you use wheat seeds, you'll get 3 millibuckets per wheat seed. So the return is 5-fold from what you get from wheat. So when at all possible, I would highly recommend using cherries. Okay, so yes, we went over how to make impregnated sticks. Moving on. Okay, now the autocrafting part. Actually, I have to give a shout out to TKH for this one. I've watched his videos a lot about AE2 in general, applied to Energistics 2, and just trying to figure out a way, since I really haven't seen anybody do it, at least with AE2, a complete automation of frame auto-crafting, replenishment into frame housings, and importing, exporting bee byproducts, routing bees back into alvearies. I've seen a couple of videos with APRS pipes and all that. That stuff's all been deprecated. I can't even find that anymore. So this is more of a modern day beekeeping, beekeeping method, if anybody even does this anymore. I'm pretty sure this is one of the first videos. If it's not, somebody just let me know and show me the video, because I would love to see it. All right, moving on. So we have a pattern terminal. I've already made the pattern, and crafting status just tells you once you start crafting how much is how much is being crafted or how many are being crafted. It's the crafting storage. Oh, excuse me. It's 1:30 in the morning here. I'm going to be heading to bed soon. I might not get this done tonight. And then in the interface is where we have our pattern. So when I make it here, I have a blank pattern. I put in my design. It spits this out. I click this button, and it moves the pattern down to here. I take that, put it in my inventory, move it over to the interface, and I drop it into here. So crafts, it's an encoded pattern, crafts 1 impregnated frame with 8 impregnated stick and 1 string, no substitutions. Easy enough, right? All right, so the way we get this going here, I have them exporting with a crafting card into this strong resonant box, which is just a strong box resonant, which is just a strong box that's had all of the upgrades from thermal expansion, or sorry, thermal foundation, hardened, reinforced, signalum, and resonant. Okay. So every frame that I craft, it's going to draw the ingredients from here, bring them through the controller, down my dense cable, bring it up to here, start monitoring. It'll craft them, and then it'll spit it out into the box here. And then from here, I have a storage bus. It's actually, once I set up all my alvearies here, it's going to send these impregnated frames to replenish every frame in the frame housings. And I put 6 frame housings per alveary, and it works. But for now, we're going to craft some impregnated frames. So if you want to do that, we're at the not the crafting terminal, we're at the pattern terminal. We don't have to do it here. I mean, I guess I could do it here. Doesn't really matter. All I have to do is click this thing, and I can set an amount that I want. So I'm going to click 100 and click next. This next tells me, to craft 100, I need 800 and 100. It's automatic. So I click start, we're going to get going. All right, let's check it out. See, there it goes. Now we're going to check this box here. It's going to dump them off here. And it should dump those off into the strong box. I have to put some acceleration cards in there. There we go. It's dumping them off as it's creating them. All right, so it's done creating all 100, right? Got 101 in there. Those have been dumped off into there. Seems to have worked correctly. I'm a little confused as to why it wasn't spinning them directly into there, but whatever. It's all right, we know it works. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, and it dumped an extra. So 58, it dumped off into here, which is fine. Anyway, we know it works. We know it's dumping these off into the strong box. And next, we are going to take a break from this, and then we're going to build some alvearies. Be right back. All right, we're back at it. So I've constructed 5 alvearies. Each contains 6 frame housings, alveary lighting, and a rain shield so that they can work day and night. I've chosen certain types of bees just to demonstrate that the alvearies do work and that I do have import buses on the bottoms of each of these alvearies to feed everything into the system, which then processes it and pushes it back into the system. So over here, I have forest bees. Now, usually what happens is when the queen dies, if there's any drones left in here, then they're fine. But they get pushed over to this side with a princess and typically 2 drones. What I have set up, and you can use any type of item duct or servo. I just try to use the fastest stuff to, I don't know, when you're in creative mode, you like to use the best of everything when you can't, get it immediately when you're in survival. So here we are. I have the servo set up to whitelist these 2 only. And I am using metadata, however you want to say it. So every time these 2 pass through, it's only going to allow the princess and the drone to pass through and back into the alveary. You might not see that in time, but if we do see it, then you'll see that it works. This is a single byproduct type of bee. So what you get from here is just a regular honeycomb. That's what this import bus here is all about. I have an import bus with 2 capacity cards just in case I used a bee that had, excuse me, more than one output, more than one byproduct. It just has the honeycomb and an acceleration card just to speed things up. And we won't get to this one, but that's fine. I do have smart cable running along the bottom here, coming off of a dense smart cable, just in case I needed more later. Yeah, only using 5 channels, and that is because we're only using 5 alvearies. And there's 1 import bus per alveary. Okay, there they go. And there they are. See, just like that. It works. Awesome. In here, we have, I just chose a Rocky Queen. Some bees, if you're not already familiar by now, they require some type of a flower, as they call it, something to pollinate. I have some destabilized bees here. They require redstone, so I just put a block of redstone here. Some require stone. Some require water. The hive, or even the alveary, the apiary or the alveary has to be submerged in water in an actual ocean, an ocean biome. But either way, these are, what are these? Yes, the Rocky Queens. So far, the only thing that I've gotten out of those is a Rocky Comb. And second verse, same as the first. 2 capacity cards, 2 acceleration cards, and we'll see what happens with that. Same thing here. Princess, drone, are whitelisted. These are the only 2 things that are allowed to come out of that servo. We're using the metadata because sometimes these things change. Even if they're purebred over and over and over again, something about it changes. But it is what it is. All right, moving on. So you can see that if you travel along the path here, you've got one channel right here, two channels, three channels, two channels, one. Two, let's see, we have five here, two and three combined for five. It took me a while to understand this cabling, but I've basically got it now. All right, moving on. Destabilized bees. Again, they needed the block of redstone behind them. Now, what you'll find peculiar about these bees is they have three byproducts. They have the destabilized comb, an occult comb, and redstone. They give you redstone. I kid you not. You'll get to see the process of that in just a moment. This one, Imperials, people are familiar with that already. They give off, their byproducts are dripping comb and royal jelly. Those will process on through. And Industrious. And their two products, pollen cluster, stringy comb. Again, all of these import buses have capacity cards and acceleration. With these servos, only whitelisting these two to come through. There you have it. So this all, like I said, follows this path here into the controller and into the system. Now, what you should see at some point are these things light up. Are these things lighting off? Now, the reason that is because, like I said, when I was explaining how I set these up, these all have export buses. So whatever comes into the system, if there's an export bus with its name on it, it's going to get fed into here and processed. Got the occult comb. I mean, I could just load these all up onto one since I've only got 5 alvearies, but I'll let it slide. Stringy comb, that's an import bus. What do we got here? Nothing. The destabilized comb. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. What did I put over here? Ah, honeycomb, rocky comb, dripping comb. Okay. So again, you just saw the process work a second ago. And if you look in here, you can see I'm already starting to pick up items. As we break down the combs, we can get beeswax, propolis. You get the redstone as an actual byproduct. Destabilized drops, honeydew, magic wax. You get everything. Now, the next part of this is going to take some time to construct, but it is going to be worth it. I mean, at this point, you could call this done. I mean, you've got your alveary set up, you have your imports and exports to separators, got your piping all laid out. You can just close this up and call it done, and put in the impregnated frames yourself. You don't even have to worry about the crafting. But we're going to take this to its ultimate conclusion, and that is pure automation, where you should not have to mess with anything at all for the rest of the time you're messing with bees. So the way this is going to work is we'll have export buses on each one of these. You know, they can't share an export bus. So that's 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Which right now I'm using 5. So what I might do is try to put all of this, or at least, let's see, what do I got? I've got 27 channels left in a 30. So I could probably put these three, terminal, crafting monitor, this counts as one device, and this counts as one device. So I could probably put these, I could probably take these off of this bus and then run this up and just connect these three to here. That's probably what I'll do. But either way, the next step is to put export buses on each one of these and then connect them to this end here so that these frames can start to flow into each one of these, and it will kick production up big time. All right, this should be the last demonstration. As you can see, I have run this up to connect these three items. And after I did all this routing, I am maxed out on channels. 32 of 32. You can see I have 6 export buses, one for each frame housing. That amounts up to 6 channels. And you come further down the way, that's 12. Got 6 from this one. Add the 6 from there, it's 12. Get 6 more from this one at this junction, now you got 18, 12, 30. And you've got these two connected, which here you got 31 and 32, rest of the way in. So I'm maxed out on channels. All right, good to go. Now, the one thing I guess I forgot to do before I started this was I need to assign these frames to the export bus. Now, I'm not going to check these till I'm done assigning all the export buses, because this should already be working. Everything's connected. Nothing is waiting. I mean, I guess I could put accelerator cards in, but I've already done enough. So I'm going to get all these done. And see what happens. Again, this is Minecraft 1.12.2. We're using the Forestry mod with Applied Energistics 2, Thermal Foundation, Thermal Dynamics, to try and automate as much of the beekeeping as possible. Yeah, Thermal Dynamics. And then it's Thermal Foundation for, I think, the update or the upgrade cards for these. So you have Thermal Expansion. And of course, Binnie's Extra V's, which is a part of BinnieCore. It's all the same mod. All right, so what should be going on right now is, oh, we got one that just went into there. It's processing more. Okay, kind of like where this is going. Things are already starting to happen a lot. So let's go take a look at our box here. Let's change from there. Oh, I'm down by 30. So guess what? That means it worked. Let's check the top left and the bottom right. Populated, 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 populated. Yep, it works. So there you have it, folks. Instead of having to manually put in frame housing, that's to even suggest that anybody even does the apiary stuff anymore. Probably not very many. But it was something that I jumped on when I came back to Minecraft, I don't know, probably almost 6 months ago. And I thought it'd be a good challenge. And this is what it's brought me to. Using AE2, thermal expansion, and thermal foundation to automate as much of this process as possible. And here we are. Now, granted, is it worth all of the material that it would take to get to this point, especially for this dense cable, this dense smart cable, and the amount of materials it's going to take consistently to keep up with the impregnated stick production and the seed oil production. That in itself is a really tall order, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody, because that's pretty tough stuff. But as you can see, it works. Everything works, and I am extremely happy with this. If anybody has any questions or comments, just leave them below. And you don't have to like or subscribe or anything like that. I don't really record often and much, is why the sound quality for my voice is going to be extremely bad. Yeah, that's all I've got. I have to give a big thanks to TKH for giving me a hand with this along the way. And yeah, that is full automation for beekeeping. Once you've gotten to this point, that you can construct numerous alvearies and all the different parts that go with it in Minecraft 1.12.2 with Forestry. Apply to Energistics 2 and thermal expansion and thermal dynamics.